I do a fair amount of buying games online and crap myself as well, but it's never quite as fun, you know. I get it, you can get better
Yeah.
deals online, and I've certainly gotten my good deals online. Obviously, I did not pay $300 for my copy of Snow Bros. I got it as part of some bundle for super cheap on eBay, and blah blah blah. I sniped it, yada yada yada. You know, all that stuff's great, but there's just something so nice about the game store experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah. I think there's a trade off because I do quite like fun. Like again, I never really been inside like strictly retro game stores as much because there's none really around me.
Yeah.
So like the closest was like GameStop back when they actually sold retro shit.
When did
Um,
they? Are you talking just like when GameCube was still in the store, or when they actually tried to
yeah,
do
pretty
that?
much.
Yeah.
Well, they did that like recently, like around the start of the pandemic.
Yes.
I want to say like 2021 maybe.
Yeah.
They started to do more retro stuff like certain stores, and the one near me was only like
Yeah.
5 minutes away. That one was one of them that had
Mm.
like a retro section. It was just a shelf, like it was just a shelf of like Wii and GameCube, occasionally GameCube games, and, like Wii PS3 games and shit. So it was quote unquote retro. Which
Some
when I
disc
read
only
that,
PS2
yeah.
games. Whoop de doo.
But I did find some good stuff there, like Super Mario, Galaxy 2, and Twilight
Right.
Princess for the Wii, and I was like, oh hell yeah, like because I was already looking for those games, and I got them for
Right.
like $12,
Great.
and they were all like case, manual, and disc and everything included, and I was like, oh hell yeah. Um, but the flip side of that is when you're in a store, it's typically not from a collector. So if you really care about like specifically like damage or
Right.
like the quality of the item or the condition of the item rather,
Yeah.
then like going into a store is always going to be a gamble because again it's not typically from a collector. Like a collector would sell online to try to get the best price
Yeah.
rather than typically take it into a used game store.
Some
Um,
collectors though will just dump off everything and be like, "I'm done with
yeah,
this hobby." You know. I mean, that
yeah,
happens.
like yeah, that does happen. But I feel like if you really want to get like really good quality stuff, it's better shot to get it online.
Uh huh.
Especially like if you can get like somebody who's like really thorough about it. Like I got the entire like dot hack iMock
Yeah. Yeah.
thing from one dude, and
Yeah.
he was definitely a collector because he like put in the description like no pets, no smoking,
Most people
nothing.
who own those
Yeah,
games too, or who own all four of those,
yeah,
are going to be
are
collectors.
collectors.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like because and I got it for a good deal, I say, which is it was the most expensive purchase I have had on eBay, but it was
Well,
4 games, so
they're
whatever.
brutal. They're brutal. I
Yeah,
like 10 years ago, I bought Quarantine, and it was over $100. Like even 10 years
yeah,
ago,
it's $300 now.
Yeah.
But granted, I got all 4 of them for like this is gonna be embarrassing to say. I got them for like $400,
That's still.
but
I know the third one's
yeah,
really expensive too. So only the
yeah, the third
first
one
one
is really
is
expensive too.
affordable. Yeah.
Yeah, but I got all 4 of them, and when I got them, they were in like pristine condition. Like I was like, holy shit, this doesn't look like these games are like
DVDs too.
old. Yeah, DVDs and everything.
Yeah, I,
Um,
I, I used to have them. I had all four. I sold them to our other buddy, but
yeah, yeah. And it's like it's stuff like that where you can like get a good seller and stuff online. And I feel like it's easier to find that, and it's easier to like dispute a claim, like say like on eBay and stuff. Because I've gotten things where like the seller hasn't been, like when I tried to get Quarantine the first time,
uh
I got it and I received it, and the case was destroyed.
huh. Oof.
And I
How
was
was
like,
the
oh man, this got destroyed in transit or something. Like the whole bottom of the case, the plastic was broken off.
was the
And I
artwork
was like,
messed up though?
no, the artwork was not messed up. And
So you
I
could
was like,
swap
oh
it.
man, yeah, I was like, maybe I can get another case. But I spent like $300 on this. And when I
Mm.
was like, oh man, I was just like, and I like looked at the listing again, and I noticed that in the pictures that the seller had, you can see the broken case if you squint. he like angled it so you couldn't see the case was
Oh,
broken.
oh,
And I was like,
that's kind of
fuck
scummy.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm getting a full refund on this shit. And even
Yeah.
like the seller was like, you can just buy like DMC2 for like $6. And I'm like, that doesn't matter. It's the principle now.
Yeah.
It's the I spent a lot of money on this and you fucking said this shit was very good condition. This is not
Oof.
very good condition by eBay standards.
Not
dog.
at all. I mean,
It's
in
the
that
respect.
same case, in that same instance, he could have bought Devil May Cry 2, which is a 2-disc game,
Yeah.
right? For that's why he said DMC2 because it's got 2 discs, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I do not own DMC2 on PlayStation 2. Don't really plan on it because that's like the only DMC game that I think is just straight up bad.
I have some things to say about that, but anyway, that's that. If we're talking about not hear me outs in terms of coitus, but hear me outs in terms of games that I kind of like, I would have to maybe put Devil May Cry 2. Yeah, I kind of like it, dude. I'll tell you about it in a second. But anyway,
Okay.
He could have done that too. Homeboy could have swapped the case out before selling it if he's bitching at you to do it then, you know? So I have a funny story though about an instance in which I got a game refunded. So Donkey Kong, just arcade Donkey Kong on NES has a bunch of different variants, right? There's just one called Donkey Kong, which is a black box game. Then there's Donkey Kong Jr., of course. But then there's separate games. But then there's one where
Donkey
it's
Kong
both
Senior,
of them,
which is he's very old,
and it's
and
him.
he can't throw those barrels like he used to.
Right. It's just a slowed down version of the game. No, but then there's Donkey Kong.
Jumpman's got a walker.
Yeah, seriously. Then there's Donkey Kong Classics, which is Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. together. Mm-hmm. Do I own all three? Yes. But anyway, so when I bought the just Donkey Kong, right? It's like a $40 game. It's kind of expensive now. Just regular black box Donkey Kong on NES, 5-screw, whatever. It's like a $40 game, and I saw somebody listed one for $18 a while ago. This has to be like 6 months ago at this point. And I immediately snagged it. I was like, that's an easy pickup. I already had classics, but I'm like, I can either keep this because it's technically a different release, so it technically counts for the set, or I could even just resell it because it had like a messed up back, but you can swap the back off. You know, you can always take the back off of another game and put it on. In this case, it had to be another 5-screw game, but like, all right, I got Excite Bike, I can do that, you know? So I had considered doing that, but I got the game, and the seller clearly like did not check it at all, and it's okay because they listed it for so cheap, but the condition I believe was listed as either good or very good, and I opened it up and it looked like this thing was like the bottom of a shoe. I mean, it was filled with dirt. It was actually filled with dirt. Like it looked like a dang playground in there. Like like some wood chips were in there, and the board was in horrific shape. And so I sent pictures of it to the seller, and I'm like, I don't think you knew this because you didn't put any pictures of this up, but this is in horrendous condition. And they refunded me. It was fine.
Yeah.
They didn't fight me on it, unlike your guy who said just swap it out with Devil May Cry 2. Yeah. But anyway, so I got it refunded, and I was like, you know what? I'm obviously not going to try and resell it at this point. But I was like, let's see if I can get it to work, you know? And I was scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing, and I got the dirt all off of it and stuff, and I actually did get it to play, but it looks terrible, but I actually did get it to play, but it was so not what I paid for, so I still justify getting the refund because that was not as advertised.
Yeah. No, I get, and I do think like I have had like good experiences with sellers. There's one that I was trying to get a PSP copy of Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
Because I have the loose little UMD disc guy.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't have like the case and manual and stuff. So I was like, let me just like I couldn't find just the case and manual. So I was like, let me just it's not that expensive. Let me just like $20. Let me just buy it. So I like found a seller that was like good quality, and I was like on eBay, and I was like, yeah, I'll get it. I got it. I had it shipped to me, and I opened it up, and I was like, This is Kingdom Hearts 3 on the PS4. I already own 2 copies of this.
Oh man, yeah.
And I was like, I like messaged the seller back, and I'm like, hey, you sent me the wrong thing, and they were like incredibly like apologetic. They were like, how
Yeah.
come I like? They were like I didn't notice. I didn't even notice it. Can you like send it back, and I'll like fully refund you, and then when I put up the listing again, I'll like mention it to you so you can grab it.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
got it all handled out. I got the birth by sleep thing, and they were very like communicative throughout the whole
Yes.
process and like very
Yes.
apologetic about it. I was like, listen, it's all right. It's like a
Yeah.
genuine mistake.
Yeah, no, and things like that happen. And look, I can speak from both sides. You know, I've done a fair amount of eBay selling my entire life, pretty much. I
Yeah.
started it very young on
Selling your
my
toenail
dad's.
clippings and all that.
Yeah, of course, and my Cheeto shaped like Harambe that sold for $1 million. But anyway,
Yeah.
I've sold games on eBay, especially when I was younger. When I didn't have a lot of money, I would sell games on eBay instead of trading them into GameStop because I figured out how to use eBay, and my dad helped me out, you know, with his account, and he would help me with the shipping and stuff. So I had a
Yeah.
very good support system that way. So I've used eBay for super super long, and have done buying and selling, and you know, things of that nature. And I mean, it's a difficult. A lot goes into it, you know, and it's a fairly difficult process, and it's easy to make the mistake of sending like the wrong game to somebody. I am like so nervous about doing that all the time, and I like triple check stuff. I have even psyched myself out so bad that I've had stuff packed up and have ripped it open just to make sure it was actually the right game, and then repacked it. Like it's that bad.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. But I have another funny eBay kind of, not horror story, that's a little dramatic, but an eBay seller that was none too good to me. I bought an Xbox 360 controller, and it was advertised as a black controller, not one of the all
And you
black.
got shipped. And you got shipped that Mega Man game that you hate.
I got shipped a copy of Mega Man 8. Yeah. If that
And he's like,
happened,
oh no!
I'm like, what do they know?
Yeah, like what's the SpongeBob line with the like the educational television?
Oh,
no!
educational
That's-
television.
yeah, that's you with Mega Man 8.
Yeah. And now back to KRUD with your all. You won't be getting away with stealing my car hits. Basically that. Giant clams. Anyway, so
Cheese graters.
yeah. I bought an Xbox 360 controller, and I bought a black one, not one of the cool all black ones. There's a kind of an ugly 360 controller that is black with the gray sticks. I think it looks terrible.
Yeah, no, I think my brother had that one. Yeah.
Ugh, I hate the way they look. The black with the black sticks looks great. That was, you know, when they made the Slim, that came out. I think the black and gray was for the Elite, which is so... I think it looks terrible. But anyway, I just needed one because I was actually selling an Xbox 360, but I didn't have the controller to sell with it. So I bought this, you know, cheap one. It's still a first-party controller, but black with gray sticks. Whatever, who cares? Somebody else is going to get it anyway. And the seller sends me a blue controller with a white back. Like a white battery compartment. And I'm like, this doesn't match. And it's not at all the thing that was advertised in the listing. And then they just were like, oh, I'll send you another back then. And I'm like, okay. I would have just liked it if you sent me the thing I ordered in the first place.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
really, really strange. Just some strange characters like that. And, you know, you would think that the game stores would be, you know, better than would be above doing some crap like that to people. So